Here's Brody Brazil.
We've known about the group Schools Over Stadiums for quite some time now, but only recently have we started to understand the potential impact they could have on relocation of the A's to Las Vegas. Let's quickly revisit the group, who they are, what they're aiming for, and how they plan on getting it accomplished. It's a group of educators and teachers in the state of Nevada. They were upset that during the past legislative session, they wanted money for public education, schools, teachers, things that are not getting funded properly, and to fund an education system that a lot of people say is ranked 49th out of the 50 states here in America. So that is an issue, something that they're trying to remedy. They were not happy that $380 million was approved for a new stadium for the A's in Las Vegas. They formed together. They quickly say they're going to collect 102,000 signatures by next summer to try and take away SB 1 and the $380 million that were approved back in June of 2023. So a referendum vote would eventually be on the 2024 ballot, November of 24, and all it needs is 50% plus one vote, and SB 1 would essentially be rescinded from the A's. This group was recently given some attention, maybe even some recognition or legitimacy by baseball commissioner Rob Manfred. This is before Game 1 of the World Series. He puts himself in this media scrum, which is not televised. It's not recorded audio-wise anywhere. Can't find it. It's just reporters and just quotes. Among other headlines that come out about where the A's may or may not play for seasons of 25, 2026, and 2027, the big headline from the LA Times is that MLB is keeping a wary eye on a potential Nevada vote on A's stadium funding. And the direct quote from Commissioner Manfred is this, quote, "If there was an adverse development with respect to that referendum, that would be a significant development." We'd yet to really hear the commissioner address Schools Over Stadiums. Obviously, the A's and one of their lobbyists, there's two individuals, but one of their lobbyists is filing a lawsuit against Schools Over Stadiums, and the hearing on that is November 6th, which you're about to find out here. But here's the full quote from Commissioner Manfred about this movement and about this objective to try and take away public funding. Quote, "If there was an adverse development with respect to that referendum, that would be a significant development," Manfred said Friday before Game 1 of the World Series. That's all I can say about that. Now, again, there's no audio, there's no video of this, but I'm imagining the body language when he said, "That's all I can say about that." It seems there was more there. There was more emotion, there was more frustration, there's more details there that he really can't. Obviously, that's all he can say about that. It's all he can say, but is that all he knows about that? My point is that all of a sudden, it seems like the A's in Las Vegas and baseball is taking this possibility seriously. The A's said back in the summertime during the legislative session that if they didn't get public funding for this project, they would have no choice but to seek other cities and other opportunities, and they would kind of turn their focus away from Las Vegas. The article from LA Times continues by saying a Nevada Teachers Union has launched a petition, to qualify the referendum for a public vote, arguing that voters should have a say in whether taxpayer funding should be spent on a ballpark. The A's have joined a lawsuit asking a court to throw out the petition based on its technical defects. A hearing is set November 6th, according to the Teachers Union. So we'll find out if the lawsuit has any impact on it, or if this group can actually collect 102,000 signatures. Let's get into that part of it. They need 102,362 signatures, to be precise, of registered Nevada voters. And I believe the way they come up with that number is, I think, 10% of voters from the last election in the state of Nevada, which equates to 102,000. And they need those signatures submitted by June 26th, 2024. They've got some time to accomplish this. One of the caveats here is that those 102,000 signatures must be evenly distributed across Nevada's 4 congressional districts, which we'll get into here in just a second. We're going deep on this. And it would result in a November 2024 referendum vote as advertised. And again, those votes usually work in favor of of denial happening, something being taken off the board, in this case, $380 million, all it needs is 50% plus one vote. So they need a fair amount of signatures, but once it goes to the vote, most expect it's a formality that that public money would go away. Now, I'm not an expert on collecting signatures or referendums or this part of politics. I'm just a lousy sports broadcaster. Yeah, you can take that clip, go ahead, put it anywhere you want. But here's Nevada's 4 congressional districts. And what you'll notice is that the state is essentially 2 halves. There's northern Nevada with Reno and Carson City and the Tahoe area, and I guess, where 80 goes up there through Elko and all that stuff. But the majority of Nevada, in terms of population and economy and business, is all obviously in the southern part, really in the southern tip. And that's why districts 1, 3, and 4 are all in southern Nevada. We'll eventually evaluate District 2 in just a second. My point being here that they need about 75,000 signatures from the most populous area of the state. Here are those 3 districts, and you can kind of also see, hopefully in there, where the greater metro region of Las Vegas is. So 3 of those congressional districts are in the heart of the population. They're not in hard-to-reach, hard-to-find areas. Again, I don't know how easy or difficult it is to collect 102,000 signatures. I don't know that anybody for sure knows that. Otherwise, we'd have a better grasp on this possibility and its chance of actually being a reality. But I will tell you that 3 districts come together, like literally right there near the heart of Las Vegas. And the other district, is that 2, is basically, geographically speaking, way more than half the area of the state. That's a lot of land out there, but that's not a lot of people. This might be the harder place to get the signatures, but this might be the region of the state where most people oppose it most. Why do I say that? Because a lot of the money here, of the $380 million, I think 180 is coming from the state of Nevada. So people up north are saying, why should our money go help something that's only in Las Vegas and people are only going to be benefited by it in Las Vegas? If you are actually an A's fan and you live in Carson City or Reno or Truckee or Tahoe, it is so much easier to go right down the hill, right down 80 or 50, and in 3 hours or so, you're at the A's game. If you want to go from Reno or Truckee or Tahoe down to Las Vegas, that's like an 8-hour drive. They're actually moving farther away from the northern populous part of Nevada than if they go to Las Vegas. They're moving farther away from northern Nevada actually by coming to Nevada. That's right. It's weird, but it's true. My point here is that they may not have a hard time gaining signatures, although it's a harder volume to get 25,000 in that region. I don't even know how many people live in this area in red or are registered voters from last year's election. I don't know. But the point is, those people might be more inspired to do a signature as much as anybody else. There's also this aspect of the timeline. Because a while ago, I was thinking, well, if this doesn't come up until November of 2024, it's too late. Because up until this past week, everybody's assumption was that the original demolition of the Tropicana site and the hotel and construction was all going to start summer of 2024, right? That's when things are going to get moving. And once we get to that point, there's no turning back. You can't stop this process and project once the wheels are already in motion. So we thought demo would happen in the summer, basically mid-24, and then there would be some type of groundbreaking by the end of 2024, maybe before or after, slightly before or after the November vote, right? So, okay, what impact does that election have right there if it's too late? Too little, too late, it's not going to be a factor. Well, at the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority meeting the other day, we actually found out a more realistic timeline of this project at the Tropicana site. Turns out, demolition itself is not even going to start until 2024, and everybody's shooting for groundbreaking in April of 2025 to be on target for opening the stadium by 2028. That means, all of a sudden, that November 2024 vote is not after things get started. It's before things get started. And now we're looking at the timeline entirely different, as in, oh my goodness, that November vote would be before everything else is even ready to get underway. Certainly changes the tone, changes the scene when you look at the timeline that way. Because right now, November 2024 is the only thing that's for sure in this process. Like, there will be an election and a vote in November of 24 in Nevada. Whether the referendum will be on there or not, that's the only thing that we know for certain in terms of the timeline. So, is this the biggest opposition to the A's moving to Las Vegas? Certainly. In the end, what if $380 million comes from somewhere else? Then this doesn't really matter. Then it's kind of a wash. But the point is that this group is trying desperately right now to move forward, to collect these signatures. Again, keep your eye on November 6th in terms of that hearing. Keep your eye on the lawsuit. Keep your eye on the progress of 102,000 signatures that will be necessary. I can't tell you if that's easy or hard. I'm curious. I mean, off the top of my head, looking at where the districts are, it doesn't seem impossible. Is it likely? How do you do that? I guess we'll find out. Thumbs up down below. Since you made it here at the end of the video, you know I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.